First thing you need to know about angle of elevation and depression is one of the key terms, angle of elevation. Angle of elevation is the angle between a horizontal line and a line joining the observer's eye to some object above the horizontal line. That's important because it has to be above the horizontal line to be the angle of elevation. Here's an example here. There's the observer's eye going to an object above the horizontal line, so therefore that's the angle of elevation.
When you're talking about the angle of depression, that's when the observer is higher than the object that they are looking at. So then the angle will be formed below the horizontal line. In this example, the horizontal line is the straight line formed from their eyes just outwards, and then this is their line of sight. And their line of sight is, then the angle of depression will be above the line of sight but below this horizontal line.
Johnny is looking at Superman on a 100-foot building. He's exactly 42 feet from the building, and his eyes are 5 feet off the ground. What is the angle of elevation to us? Obviously, since this is just equivalent, it will be 42 feet. And since this is a 100-foot building and his eyes are 5 feet off the ground, just 100 minus 5, which is 95 feet. And now, since this is a 90-degree angle, we can use trigonometry to solve for this angle. So the equation we're going to use is the tangent of x equals 95 over 42. Then we're going to use the opposite of tangent to do x equals tangent -1, 95 over 42. Now we're just going to plug it into the calculator here. And we do it 95, 42. And we get 66.1. And there's your answer. So, Johnny is back again. He's looking at the top of a 10-foot tree, and he is 12 feet away from the base, and his eyes are 5 feet off the ground. We're finding the angle of elevation again. So again, we're going to find what's given to us, since these are both parallel and equivalent. This is 12 feet. And we're going to do 10 minus 5 because we're finding the angle of elevation from his sight. So this is going to be 5 feet. And now we're going to use trigonometry again, and it's going to be tangent because we're given the opposite and the adjacent. So we're going to do the tangent of x is equal to 5 feet over 12 feet. And then we're just going to use the opposite of tangent again to cancel it out. So we're going to do x equals tangent -1, 5 over 12. Plug it into our handy old calculator. And we get 22.6. And there's your answer.
The angle of depression of a stone on the ground from the top of a tree is 45 degrees. If the stone is at a distance of 120 meters away from the tree, what is the tree's height? So first we're going to take what we know from the word problem and put it on our diagram, which we've already drawn. So it says the angle of depression is 45 degrees. So this will be the angle of depression because it's below the horizontal line but above this line of sight. So this is 45 degrees. Then it also says that the stone is at a distance of 120 meters away from the tree. So this QR represents the distance from the stone to the tree, and so that's going to be 120 meters. So now that we know that, we can find this angle because these are going to be opposite interior angles, so this is going to be 45 degrees as well. And the line of sight and the distance of the stone to the tree and the tree's height forms a triangle. This is also going to be 90 degrees because they're straight up and down, so they're going to be perpendicular. Now we can use trigonometry to find x, which is the height of the tree. So x, according to the 45-degree angle, is the opposite side, and this 120 meters is going to be the adjacent side because it's not the hypotenuse since the 90 degree faces the line of sight. So we're going to set it up as tangent of 45 equals, opposite over adjacent. So it's going to be x over 120. So now you just cross multiply, and x is going to equal something after we put it in the calculator. Make sure it's in degree mode. 45 times 120. Okay, so it's going to be tangent of 45 times 120. So after putting that in the calculator, x equals 120 meters. So the tree is also 120 meters. The angle of depression of a vehicle on the ground from the top of a tower is 60 degrees. If the vehicle is at a distance of 100 meters away from the building, find the height of the tower. So in this problem, PQ right here represents the height of the tower, which is x, because that's what you're trying to find. And the angle of depression is going to be below the horizontal line, as we said before. So this angle right here is going to be 60 degrees. And then it also said in the problem that the vehicle is at a distance of 100 meters away from the building. And since this is the building, PQ, then R is going to be... So we've labeled everything, and again, we got the 100 meters from where it says the vehicle is at a distance of 100 meters away from the building, and PQ again is the building, and R is the car. Now we can solve. Since the angle of depression is 60 degrees, these are going to be opposite interior angles, so this will also be 60 degrees. And now, since this is a triangle, and this forms a 90-degree angle, just because it's a straight line and they're going to be perpendicular, we can see that this is a triangle, and we can use trigonometry to solve for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and find this thing. So we're going to use tangent of of an angle equals, so it's going to be opposite over adjacent. So it's going to be it's going to be x over 100. And so the angle is going to be this 60 degrees because this is the adjacent angle and this is the opposite angle. And we don't use the 90-degree angle. So then now you're just going to cross multiply to where x equals tangent of 60 times 100.
Some good stuff right there.
And then we'll plug that into the calculator.
Thank you. You guys would have killed me.
And now x equals 173, and then we've rounded it 0.2. And that's your answer.